Now that we got that out the way, we are actually recording. So, this is the Dayton School, right? And we are in here just to chop it up. So, I want to do something called Ahava's Answers. I'm Ahava. And I'm going to ask a question. And then when you guys answer, I'll tell you whether you're right or wrong or not.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. All right. So, first question is, are you supposed to enjoy life?
Are you supposed to enjoy life?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
gotta enjoy life.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Uh-huh.
God to prepare us.
Mm-hmm.
to
Say it.
enjoy
What
the
you
life.
say?
God to prepare us
Uh-huh.
to enjoy our life.
Okay. So God made us to enjoy life.
Yeah.
And all right. And so where are you getting that from? Why do you say that?
He create us to enjoy our life.
Mm-hmm.
Create
So
family.
if that's true, then why are most of the things that we enjoy doing are either unhealthy, bad, sinful, or something is always to the things that are extremely pleasurable?
What do you mean? Like, give an example. What are you talking about?
Well, the food that you really want to indulge in and eat, it's often unhealthy for you, including stuff like salt, sugar. These things are normally bad for you, but that's what feeds the dopamine in your head for you to really want these things over and over.
Okay,
Sex
that's an angle.
is often dangerous. It's immoral when you just do it out of recreation, but it's one of the most highly enjoyable acts.
I think
So,
that's,
where are you getting the concept that you're supposed to enjoy life from?
I think those are the things that's promoted to us the most. I don't think necessarily those are the things we seek out. I think that's promoted to us more than other things, so we automatically enjoy those things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? At that rate, I don't think
Okay.
it would be that rate if I don't think we would go out and seek those things as enjoyable pleasures if it wasn't promoted to us.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think there's supposed to be a level of moderation,
Balance.
and there's supposed to be different circumstances where things should be enjoyed in. Like as a Christian, I feel like sex should be enjoyed in the sanctity of marriage, and as long as you do that, there's nothing wrong with that. And then when it comes to food, there's nothing wrong with sugar. There's nothing wrong with salt. Like you should have those things in moderation.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with sugar.
I don't
No.
think that there's anything.
Do
like,
you see all the death and destruction it's causing from sugar and salt?
Okay, like
There's nothing wrong with it.
white bleach sugar, there's something wrong with it. But like natural sugar, cane sugar,
But
like
we're talking about the things that people enjoy the most, though. Like you enjoy the natural bleach sugar. Like, yeah, you want to go outside of the scope to try to make something fit into this box, but we're talking real now.
Fair. But just like the seasons, it's like balance. You balance it all. You take the good with the bad. Like bad things happen, we know.
Mm-hmm.
So even in a good life, you're gonna have hardships. You're gonna face, you're gonna have things that you have to overcome. However, there's always joy comes in the morning. That's what they say.
What does it mean to enjoy something?
I feel like it's something that you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something that gives you meaning or like purpose.
Something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Something
Something that
that
makes you happy.
add,
Something you
I
get
think
pleasure
that's the
from.
add
answer.
value to your life.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. Something that makes you happy. So, in particular, what about life makes you happy?
My son,
Mm-hmm.
me and mom,
Anybody just
Family,
keep going,
yeah.
keep it going.
Yeah, family.
family.
teaching,
Family.
um,
Family makes you happy.
Helping people.
helping,
Yeah,
giving back.
Helping,
Yeah.
helping people makes you happy, does it?
Food. I
Get
think
my hair
food.
done. Make me happy. You know what I mean?
That's one. That's a real one right there.
Yeah, that one too. Of course,
You know,
nature.
family makes you happy. How does family make you happy?
When we together.
Yeah, just
Right.
being
You
around
can do
boys.
that.
Laughing and joking and cracking
Yeah, I
jokes.
don't know.
and
Being
just
with
Help
people
each
that you
other.
grew up
helping
with.
each other, right?
These answers sound like something that like we all got like programmed in? Did
I mean,
anybody
you
program you guys to
Natural,
say
though.
this
Like,
stuff?
that's natural though.
Yeah, I think yeah.
That's probably
It's
why it is
real.
programmed in us to be happy around family.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let's see, I
So
can
since the
relate to
beginning of time, though, families have always split apart. Like everybody is family,
That's natural
True.
too.
that. Yeah.
That's true.
but everybody wars, and the tribes of Enki and Enlil, or Cain and Abel, and so on and so forth, they were family, but they end up splitting off into different tribes and then fighting each other.
But
So to
did
what
they-
extent does family make you like what in particular makes you happy about family, like besides just general family?
I don't know. For me, that kind of begs the question, though, of like, is war inherently bad? Because for me, I don't think that it is. I think war is a natural part of life. So
Straight now.
for me, like,
Get some straight.
it's not so much as family. I'm with family. I'm with people that love me. I'm with people that desire my presence. I'm with people that understand who I am and where I'm coming from. And that could be somebody that I just selected, like as a friend, or it could be somebody that like birthed me, basically.
Brian, give me some feedback, bro.
So I think that the reason why family is important
Mhm.
is because, like, as humans, as like human creatures, we made to live within community.
Yeah.
So like whatever community that is, even when they talk about war, it's also natural to have differences. So
Yeah.
like when you work in a community, you know what I mean? That's why if you go to jail, solitary is the punishment, because nobody really wants to be alone. It's not enjoyable to be alone. It's natural for us to want to be in community with others.
Yeah.
So that's why they say family, because your family is that natural built-in community that you're born with
Right.
through heredity.
Who's more important in your life, your friends or your family? Just in general.
Family.
Would you rather be more around your friends or your family for the most part?
Family.
For me, family.
Your family, because when your friends really that close to you, they become your family.
Because we love
Well, that's a nice thought. But I'm talking about a blood relative. Who is generally a better
mother.
connect
I think it
vibe, friend or a blood relative?
I think it all depends on what your idea of what family is, because family isn't always about blood relatives, because there's millions of people out there in the world who are actually blood relatives to you. They are relatives, but you might not even be that close with them, so you don't even know if they're really your family. So it's not even like just trying to just encapsulate and thinking that's your family. I got friends I knew since I was four years old. You know, I'm 31. You know what I mean? I've been around them 27 years, and I got family members who are my relatives who I never met. So it's like your family is not even just.
So you saying friends?
No, I'm saying family is what's more important, but your concept of family is a conceptualization. Like, because the idea of blood relation and relative, that's not necessarily what makes everybody
So
relative.
what would you consider immediate family to be?
So for me, in the way that my family structure is, my immediate family is like everybody who comes from everybody who is encapsulated into like the family unit of like that's still intact. So everybody who come from my great grandma, like I only got one first cousin, but I got a lot of cousins because all my grandma's sisters, they all still get together. We get together every holiday. I see them every Sunday of the month.
And for somebody else to chime in, is immediate family mother, father, and kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, that's not my family structure though.
But can you is it okay for you just to make up your own definition of well, is it?
Yeah.
Actually,
So okay, so we can make up our own definition of what is what, and then expect everybody else to just go along with it. How does that work?
no, you create your own reality. Like, you live by your own terms. So, I mean, I guess you could try to force somebody to take a definition.
Well,
from
what
you.
about if I tell you that I'm gonna be there tomorrow at 5:00, but my 5:00 is 7:00? How does that work?
Well, 5 o'clock is 5 o'clock.
Well,
But
there's-
it's
okay,
family is family,
So there's an objective truth. There's
so-
definitely an objective truth thing.
'Cause you have a
right?
5
So,
and you have a 7. So 5
mhm.
and you got 7.
But you have. So that's what I'm saying though. But we use words and labels to point at things in order for us all to be on the same page when we're having communication. So if I can just I think this kind of leads into another topic of the transgender movement. Now, if someone comes to you and says, I am a horse, right? Do you have to start treating them as a horse when they say, when I come to you, you don't talk to me, you pet me on my head, you behave with me as you would an animal, a horse or something? Do you have to buy into whatever it is that they're calling themselves?
You don't
No,
have
you
to.
don't have to.
You don't have to.
Is it disrespectful?
Yeah, you should respect what they're
You should,
asking.
yeah, you
You
definitely
respect what they're
respect
asking
Yeah.
if they're calling themselves an animal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pat them on the head when they come.
Well,
I mean,
if
you can
don't-
have your own boundaries.
Yeah,
I'm not
you
patting
set
anybody on the
boundaries,
head,
but
but license.
you can still respect them and carry on.
Yeah. So
You can
respect-
respect them
beg
and
to differ.
disagree.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because I feel like something is wrong with this person. I would try to help this person. I don't necessarily feel like I gotta respect this person for being a horse or for thinking he's a horse. I feel like something's wrong with this person. This person need help.
Mhm.
That's what I would try to help this person. Hold on, fella.
But,
We need to
but,
advise
You're a
them.
horse.
but at the same time, it's kind of like none of our business.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No.
So do you think if someone is hurt, it's none of your business to help?
Hurt in an emergency situation, absolutely.
I think that's an emergency. If someone is
It's
calling
not hurt.
themselves a horse and they're not really a horse, I really feel it.
Okay, I've never met anybody calling themselves a horse, but he referred to the transgender community,
Mhm.
and in that light, I would say if they prefer to be called they, that's not harmful. That
I
can't
think
hurt
that's
me.
where it is when we
And it's
get
not-
around. When we talk about that community,
And it's,
we walk light.
yeah, and it's but it's
Excuse me,
not
I
like
think we walk.
but it's not like it's not harming me to say they or
No, I don't think that it is. I don't think that it is harming you to say they
Mhm.
or them or whatever they're asking to be called. But I'm just taking it to a little bit of an extreme to make the conversation a little more interesting.
yeah.
Because when you see somebody, you normally identify them as one thing or another based on what we are used to
Social norms.
for your social norms. There it is. So once somebody starts breaking those social norms, is it ever okay to rein them back in? Like, how far can it go before we have to say, now that's crossing the line?
Well, it depends on where your line is.
Where's yours?
I don't
A horse?
I don't think I have a line because I think that anybody's standpoint on their life is they have reign of they have full control over that. Like, and it's none of my business. Like, I don't, I might, like you said, might think something wrong, but I can't. I'm not gonna voice that either.
Mm-hmm.
I can wish them well though, and I can say, hey, okay, when they
Is there a point in time where, and this is for anybody else that want to chime in, is there a point in time where you feel like how other people are trying to create the world could possibly infringe on what you feel is a normal approach to life? No?
I mean, to a degree, yeah, but this is where that you create your own definitions kind of come in, because what is really normal? And I'm not trying to be super philosophical or anything, but normalcy is vastly different between you and I.
Mm-hmm.
And so if somebody wants to create their own reality where they're a horse, a cat, a they, them, whatever, I think they should have the right to create that reality. And if it begins to infringe on my rights or my freedom of speech, as an example, then we have an issue. Like, you can't infringe upon my rights. But if you exist in your world and that's just the way that you are and you're not affecting other people in a negative way, go for it. Carpe diem.
What about an principle?
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Dr. Husband said, can you call her because it's an emergency?
Okay.
You wanna you can yeah, but I think I can't get out this way, so we
Okay.
probably have to.
Let me line stuff up.
Take a point from Dr. Huggins. Yes. What a tough conversation. Good. Okay. We was just talking about where do you draw the line at? When like everybody got the right to do whatever they want to do. Everybody has the right to be whatever it is that they want to be, as long as they are not basically intruding on somebody else's rights. Look, y'all want to just slide down or jacket?
Yeah.
We gotta close in these gaps.
Yeah, come on. Let's slide on
Put
in.
Mr. Turpin right there in the middle.
Okay. Well, here we go. Round 3.
So, and look, y'all, we are only recording. So if y'all want to lighten it up, I'll lighten it up. But this is the podcast. And Dr. Huggins comes in here and we get into knockdown, drag out, philosophical battles all the time. So this is like, even though it might seem like, no, I don't want to ruin anything. Like, these are the discussions that we have. These is like called conscious conversations where we chop it up about serious issues or just interesting subjects and just explore them. And I just like to see where everybody's at, and of course I will be an antagonist in order to make the conversation go, so don't feel tight about nothing. Say what you feel, and then if I feel like it would be something that we use to get the Dayton School canceled, I won't put it out. I swear to God. I won't. So just, just kind of just, it's cool. Everything is all cool. None of these things are anything that I necessarily believe or not, but they are very interesting subjects in society right now, And so I just like to see how people think about certain stuff. So but bro, what I was just saying was, Dr. Huggins, Dr. Huggins comes in all the time, and we have serious discussions. Dr. Huggins comes in and we have serious discussions about slavery. And we talk about Christianity, and we talk about just all type of right there we go. Come on, Doc. Thank you. Come on in.
Y'all act like y'all can't answer y'all telephones.
Well,
We
we
were
on a
recording.
podcast. We're being professional.
See, no, she don't want professional.
She want us to answer.
What's up?
Hold on.
Thank you.
They
They tight.
This-
They real tight. They real tight.
Okay, keep going.
Right at that. Right. Okay, I respect that.
Because what she say?
So right now we were talking about a bunch of stuff. We were
Okay.
talking about if you enjoy life or not, if what family
Dang, I don't
is.
enjoy life.
Well, they actually said they said they said that they do enjoy life, but I told them that I don't know if we're supposed to be enjoying life or not.
Uh-uh.
I'm like,
Do
what's
you
going on?
enjoy life?
Yeah, I think we're supposed to be. You think the Most High put us here to be miserable?
Well, what? All right. So my pushback to that is a lot of the things that we enjoy about life are somehow negative for us, bad for us. Like the type of foods that you really want to eat. Like you can't just keep eating cake every day of your life.
Okay.
You can. Just
You
one
can,
slice.
but well, I don't know. And then I'm saying just like drinking bunches of Kool-Aid and pop and come on.
Shouldn't there be, I mean, with everything, there's a limitation. You shouldn't, I mean, to be honest with you, you shouldn't even want that every day and, all the time. Because of course it's not going to be great for you. The thing is, when we talk
Why
about,
is it of course it's not going to be great for you?
because after a certain period of time, your body will not start functioning properly. You need several different things to make your body actually function and grow. You would not have a kid. You wouldn't feed your child when it's born. You wouldn't shovel cake in his throat every day. It's just
You're right that you will.
no, seriously, you wouldn't do that. You're going to balance everything out. When we talk about certain things, and I understand, how we talk about certain things, we talk about what's healthy, what's not healthy, what should be good. We talk about the chemicals that's, on certain things to preserve it. We talk about the preservatives that's in the food to make it last longer. So we know some of these things have a negative that can happen in our body. So to be honest with you, we don't.
But we only enjoy those things because we're taught to enjoy them.
I'm saying like from our taste receptors that we have right now. Can just name me a couple of healthy things that actually taste very good.
Turkey burgers are good. Squash is good.
But a turkey burger though,
It's not
like
good.
your
Banana is good.
A banana, an apple, honey.
a fruit is good. Fruit, I'll give you. I will extend that to you and say fruit is a healthy, good thing that you can eat. Okay, but can you live or do you live off of fruit?
No, you don't live off of just one thing. Period.
Right.
I think anyway to just eat one thing.
I mean, there's plenty of people who live off of just burgers and steaks and fatty foods and trash.
Yeah.
Like the choices that you eat is trash for the most part.
They also have a quality of life too, though.
A different quality.
But I'm saying though, when you eat the things that you like, if you're not consciously eating, right, and you're just eating to just like taste of what you'll actually enjoy, most of the time you'll be eating foods that aren't healthy.
Right.
So there's what I'm trying to say. Like enjoying and food and eating is probably the most regularly participated thing in our lives.
Well, I enjoy what I eat, and I think I balance my
too.
meals pretty well.
I like
You
eating
balance
salad.
them though.
So I balance. I have a little,
But you're
fatty,
consciously
a little-
balancing them.
So you're saying people that don't consciously balance?
I'm saying you're balancing them as to not enjoy it. You're balancing them in order
I
to
enjoy
be
what I eat.
healthy.
No,
But what if you
I
was-
enjoy what I eat though.
But what if you was not raised? What if when you were coming up, your meals were already balanced? Then you're not consciously doing them. You're just, and you're still enjoying your food.
But who's raised like that? I mean, just if you could just give me an example. Do you know anybody that was raised
No,
like
you're
that?
telling me like people ain't raised with cook. Like I'm
You
not.
was?
I
Okay.
was too home cooked,
Yeah,
but
thank
I'm not saying take all the goodness out of it. I'm just saying there's balance.
I mean, and that also, too, speaks to the way society is now. Because 30, 40 years ago, the conscious decision or the unconscious decision was a healthy decision because you ate more vegetables.
Yeah.
You ate more healthier because you ate from gardens and stuff, and it was just unconscious because it was always there. So now
Right.
we got a bunch of food that comes from the grocery store and in boxes and stuff, and that's all we have. So yeah, because I agree because a lot of things that we had, we had our own gardens.
We know.
So
yeah.
we, and that was back in the day, and it was like whatever mom made, that's what
Just
you
what
ate.
we ate,
Right.
yeah.
And like I was telling them earlier, mom made lima beans, you ate them lima beans, and you liked it.
Right.
Either you ate it, you did, but you wasn't getting up from the table until that was gone. And if that was the case, you did need it, it'd be there for you because you're gonna get hungry. Mom, can I have something to eat?
Yeah,
Your
you got
plate
the
is
lima
empty. Yeah.
beans.
And
So
we stopped that.
But you know,
Yeah.
we
But why did we stop it?
I know why I stopped it because I don't think you should be eating stuff that you don't like to eat. I
Why?
don't like because it makes.
needs a
They
lot
try to
of
make me eat
vitamins.
liver.
She about to come
I'm
with
a
the.
strong-
You about to come and support me right now.
No, but I'm just saying that
Right,
doesn't
that's
mean
what-
just because
She
you don't-
stopped eating it because she didn't enjoy it.
Yeah,
I
right.
think
That's
And the
No,
point
but
about
it's
lie, what I'm
nasty.
saying
So
is,
you didn't.
Not-
but you didn't
That's the
enjoy
same
it. That's what he
Well, I
said.
Well,
think
that doesn't necessarily
Okay, so wait,
mean I
though.
enjoy
I think
it.
that-
Because we know families that take their kids to McDonald's every day because they enjoy it, right?
Right.
But these are the same
But it's
families
not
that
healthy.
They're not
they in
enjoying that
children's.
Dr.
Huh?
Bill.
They in children's
right.
because the kids not.
So
sick.
that's what I'm saying. The
No.
things that you
I think
actually enjoy make you sick.
No, that's what I'm about to say. I think
Yeah.
at
Take
the
food
basis,
out of it.
I think
But
that
we
I
take
think
food-
that no, even without taking food out of it, I think that the basis of that argument is a fallacy because it gives the notion that anything that people enjoy is bad. But even with our brain receptors and anything else, there are a lot of things that people enjoy. Like he was saying, helping people. Like even if you look at something like exercise, there are brain receptors that happen and it's good for you. You know what I mean? So when they talk about balance or the idea that something is enjoyable, it's not all things that are just bad for you. Just
Yeah.
like any other thing, there's a balance. There are things that are good for you that you can enjoy, and there are things that are bad for you that you can enjoy. There's something that happens with dopamine when you, like you said, when you assist somebody, or when you give back to the community, or when you do so many different things. You hit those same receptors in different ways. So
I think what you're saying has validity, and so everything is not all. To say
It
all,
depend-
come
it-
on, let me
it
hear what you got
depend
to
the
say.
culture. Like I cook a different culture food,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm looking for how much vitamin in it, how
Mm-hmm.
much protein in it. So, but I cook it tasty,
Mm-hmm.
a good. Like even my kids don't like it, but I put something they can like it,
Mm-hmm.
so they can eat it because it's too healthy for them. I'm
That
looking for
and
the
yeah, I think you're
vitamin.
proving my point.
Yeah.
You're saying what I'm saying. You have to put something in it.
Something to make
A
it
spoon,
It just
a
depends.
spoonful of sugar
No.
helps
I
the
don't
medicine
buy
go
you.
down.
So what do you like? No, but she could have meant chicken.
So she
Wait a
could've-
minute.
And
Prove
bro,
it.
so
I know
look,
that
I don't
was
what you're saying is you're trying to say it's not all bad. It's not all bad. Everything that people like is not bad. I know that. That's true. It's no doubt about it. You can't say everything that people like is bad. But I'm saying the things that give the most extreme pleasure are a lot of the time questionable. So I'll say a lot of the time they're questionable to do. Even sitting and watching TV, consuming. Like a lot of the stuff that is highly entertaining, man, a lot of that stuff is bad for your spirit. You're consuming this stuff that's going in. The music that we listen to, the most successful artists are the most violent, wretched people that say the worst things. They won't even give you distribution on music unless it's vile enough.
And that goes back to what I was saying. That's the stuff that's being promoted.
But that doesn't mean people don't enjoy other things.
And we're not
and I
saying they
think-
don't
So-
enjoy
so
other
that's
things.
not-
But that's what I'm saying. I
Don't
think
sell.
I think that's when the idea of relativity comes into play
Right.
Yeah.
because everything is relative to somebody else. Like you saying that the things that are most enjoyable for people. No, some people don't enjoy watching TV at all. They enjoy reading, and that's good for you. So it depends on the person.
It depends on what you're reading.
I was just about to say that.
No, just the concept
No,
of
reading is good for
reading
you,
as an
period.
activity is
It's
good
good for
for
you.
you.
It depends
Yeah, but it
on
still
what
depends
you're
on-
No,
reading.
it
Reading,
doesn't,
period. I'm an English teacher. I'm telling you right now, reading
Yeah,
as an
me too.
activity
Second.
has a certain level of brain functionality
It does.
that is good for you.
It does, but
No matter what you're
no, that's not true.
I know
Because
that.
whatever you're
No, that
The
is true.
act of
Well, that's
reading.
like saying
So wait a
running is
minute.
good
That
for
act
you.
of
It just
reading.
depends on where you're running to.
No, running
Yeah,
is good
that's-
for your body. Period.
That's what he's saying.
Right.
The
running,
act of running.
right? I understand
act
what
of
you're
reading.
You're
No,
saying.
it's still-
It's a
You're saying
cognitive
it's a
process.
stimulant for your brain.
It's a cognitive process that is
Yes.
good for you.
I,
No
I,
matter
under,
what you're reading.
I understand that, okay? But at the same time, though, you have to understand the balance and the totality. So if I'm reading something that is terrible for me, though it's stimulating my brain, the negative side of the terrible thing that I'm reading still has an effect on who I am to say, was this overall good for me?
I agree with that.
So that depends on your reading choice. But I'm talking about the action.
Right,
of
but
reading
that's
is
what
good
we
for you.
said. Now
I'm
we're saying the same
I'm saying
thing.
the action of reading is good for you. So
Right,
whether that
but-
reading choice is, and then the idea of what you're consuming is good or bad for you, that part is relative. That's why my whole point is
Well,
the idea is relative.
But it's no, you look at the thing in totality. and you say, yes, at first, if I'm just reading something that's neutral, it's good. But if I'm reading something that is bad, the overall effect could still be
Who says
negative
bad?
The
on
concept of bad, the concept of bad and good is relative. That's
Yeah.
my point.
that might be
It's
true.
all opinion based.
I mean, but if it's
that might be
violence in the book, and if it's like the language, the content, I think all of that does go into play as far as what you feed in your soul. So,
And I think that
That's
yeah,
relative. That's what I'm saying.
rel-
That's all
rel-
relative.
To just be reading,
but-
just to read it.
well, it is true that good and bad is relative, and without bad, there's no good.
Exactly.
but it kind of piggyback on the conversation we were having earlier about, I think I was saying about we can't watch,
Without bad, there's no good.
like I wouldn't watch First 48 before bed because that'll just put bad thoughts in my dream.
Both us a yin and
Like,
yang.
but
It's-
I mean,
I mean,
think
it's the
trickle
same
down to
thing,
what
but
you
it's all the
what
same.
you listen to, all of that it does.
Like,
I mean,
without
what you're
darkness-
saying is
without
true,
darkness,
too.
You won't understand what light is. Or whatever.
Right. I
agree.
mean,
Understand what darkness is.
right. So you can't say what,
It's levels.
like,
to it.
if everything was perfect, then nothing would be perfect because everything would just be. But you have to have imperfection in you have to have imperfection in order to understand what perfection actually is. You know. But just going back to what's all enjoyable. So it goes well, I'm just saying. So
I think if we're here, if we are living in our purpose,
mhm.
then life will be enjoyable for us.
Yes.
And
I
how do
think
you
the
know
most-
what
I think-
how do you know what your purpose is?
I think that instead of chasing money, you should chase what fulfills you. You know it because you can't. You keep going back to that.
Mm-hmm.
But that might not make you money. Like if I'm an artist and I love to create, but we all know in order to make money as an artist, you got to go above and beyond to sell your artwork. So I'm choosing to do a different job because of money. But I keep going back to this art all the time.
Out of 10 people, how many find their life purpose?
I know my life purpose.
So I think about 4.
4 out of 10?
40%.
I can't answer that either. I think it all
I think they find it, but do they involve themselves in it on a daily basis is the question. I think some people know their purpose. Or they at least know what feeling they get from doing a certain thing. And they're like,
Well,
like
going around the room once, do you know your purpose?
No, not yet.
You know your purpose?
I feel like I do.
Okay. You want to share it or not really?
Yeah, I can share it. I just feel like my purpose is to help people. Like I'm very passionate about that, and that's what
Help
brings me
people
that,
with what?
like, I would say just help people become more successful in life. Like find their purpose, their talents.
And
Like,
you're
that's
doing
what
that
I
as a
feel
teacher.
Yeah, I
That's
feel very
outstanding.
passionate about that.
You know your
Honest-
purpose?
I'm still working for my purpose.
Still working for it? Do you know your purpose?
I'm still
So
working
out of
on
what
it.
we got, know your, don't know, no, don't know.
No, I know it, but I'm still working in it.
You're working in it. So you
Like,
know
just
your
a-
you
just
know
a-
your purpose.
A few, a few months, and I will get that purpose. So I'm working with it.
she's
It's a
working
secret.
toward it. She
It's
knows what her
it's a
purpose
secret.
is.
It's a secret.
She's working
Yeah.
toward it.
Okay.
So I'm working.
Okay. And are, by the way, are these purpose that God gave you, or this is the purpose? Is this your plan or God's plan?
It's everything from God, but we don't know. It's a secret with us. We don't know about that, but God let us to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So you don't. Is there people who think their purpose is one thing, but God really has another plan for them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So how do you know if you're working the plan God got for you, or if you
Feelings.
just have your?
feelings.
Yeah.
I feel it.
But what about the
Enjoy
people
your
that
life.
feel that they're serving God's purpose, but they're not?
Well, how do we know?
Good, good. Give
I
you
mean,
the-
y'all said that people are working on plans that aren't God in their own, and they feel as though they're
We
working
feel
on.
it, yeah. I feel God gave me this energy to
Is it possible that you're wrong?
God give everything good. I don't think so. It's wrong.
It could be just something that she has to go through, or we have to go through to get to where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it could be wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but right. You know, what
I
mean?
don't think you get.
I
I don't
don't
think you
think
get
that-
bothered
Yeah.
or tired or bored
Yeah.
or want to stop your purpose.
Yeah.
You try to, like, I ain't doing this no more, and then you keep coming back to it because you keep drawn to it. So I
So
think
if
that's
you
how
were
you know
able-
it's your
yeah.
purpose.
If you're able to do it,
Yeah.
you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was here to inform. Like I've always felt that way. Like
Mhm.
I needed to tell you something. Like
Right.
so I mean I just feel that way. I mean no matter who I meet. I just felt
Inform
like
us.
Right.
I mean even just when I met you, Doc, I felt like I had something to share.
Yeah.
And then I ended up learning something. And I'm like, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
this lady mean business. I mean, and then I realized that I could learn and inform. Like,
Mhm.
and then meeting the kids. My first year teaching high school was last year. So it was kind of like, it was new for me.
Yeah.
Like, cause I taught elementary. So high school was like, okay, these kids taller than me. These kids bigger than me. These kids stronger. You know, it's just a different dynamic. But I think that it was the same thing. It was the same thing. Like it was the same, fulfillment. Like it was the same thing.
Mhm.
I believe hoping it's give the way to the purpose. Like if I wish something, I hope something. So it depends people, but for me, I'm talking about myself.
Mhm.
So hoping for me, it give me more energy to finish my purpose.
Right.
To-
Yeah.
Desire.
Okay.
What about you?
Bro.
Well, I believe my purpose is giving. Like I love giving of myself, my
Mhm.
time. That's what I feel. Can I say that that's all that He has in store for me? No, I can't.
Mhm.
But I just feel within me, and that's the gratitude I get. It's not from no one else. It's just from me.
Right.
It's my own personal, man, all right.
Mhm.
It humbles me. It keeps me striving to go forward, to keep moving in that same direction as
Right.
far as helping, and that's just something that I really like doing,
Yeah.
when and being that type of Samaritan where you help someone, there's, you don't look for applause. You don't look for anything. You don't even need to tell anybody. It's just done
Right.
without any recognition. No one needs to know. I don't care who knows.
Right.
I'm not doing it for that. Anything I do is just because.
Mhm.
So I want to add something else.
Okay.
So love, it give me, for me, love myself.
Mhm.
It give me like the direct way
Yeah.
to my purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
The love you feel when you're actually doing what it is
Yeah.
that you feel your
Yeah.
purpose is.
I
Bruh.
think nobody really like is there.
So for me, I know my purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think my purpose is being a part of the pedagogical process. So like
Mhm.
the acting art of teaching and learning.
Yeah.
And it's not just because I'm a teacher, because even if I never went to school and got a license as a teacher, I would still be a teacher. Like that was
Yeah.
always what was natural for me,
Yeah.
even when I was little.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I just transitioned to take the journey to go on it as an official journey. But no matter what, I would always like
Be teaching.
and learning, because
Yeah.
that's what pedagogy is. It's a
Yeah.
forth. Mm-hmm.
Man, now from
So I
listen,
come me a good group. Is what y'all saying?
well, you know what? You took the words right out of my mouth. And that's why I wanted to do a podcast where we're not asking teaching questions like, how's the school? What's your, what is, what's the curriculum? This and that. Like, this is, to me, what I would think somebody that is looking for a school for their kids to go, they want solid teachers that know their purpose. And every last one of you guys said that your purpose was to help and teach and do what you love. And she like, yeah, I feel I'm getting to my purpose by doing what I love every day. She teaching every day. you know. So okay, check this out though. So one of the girls that I got working here said that she seen a video of a teacher that got so frustrated with a student. This student got special needs or something, and chased him down in the hallway.
Oh, the 3-year-old.
It slammed his head down on the floor and
So he
drug
was-
him back in by the legs.
He was running. What
Yeah,
he
it
was
was on
doing
the
was
news.
running.
Was
He
it
was
real?
running. Yes,
Rosa
was-
Parks.
at Rosa Parks.
Mm-hmm.
He was running out the bathroom.
Here?
The teacher chased him, hit him in the head. He fell to the ground. Then he picked him up by his legs and carried him back into the
They
classroom.
had him by his ankles.
And he's autistic.
Wow.
Yeah, I
So
saw that.
all right. So now,
ratchet
what
up.
should the punishment for a teacher that does something like that
You're
be?
fired.
Right.
Their license.
You're fired.
Fire?
You're fired.
Yeah.
Any criminal charges?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
the parents
sure.
want to.
That's up to
I
the
think,
parent.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think
that's
up to
that's a
them.
parent. That's a parent's decision.
Mhm.
But you know,
If this was your country and somebody did something like that to a child, what would the punishment be for them, teacher or not?
Teacher or not, especially if you're a teacher, but well, I guess you can't. It's the same standard for everyone. I think jail time.
Jail time?
Jail time?
How many?
Yes.
How many
No.
years?
Jail time?
You should know better.
I don't
than
believe
that.
in our prison system.
Me neither.
How many?
So not jail time.
Well, this isn't our prison system. This is her country now, and it's ran by everybody.
Country.
My country.
So, you said jail time. How many years? Are we talking 6 months, a year, 10 years?
6 months to 2 years, depending on
Yeah,
what they did. But yeah.
You want to see the video?
6 months to
No, because
2
that's
years.
gonna make that would hurt my feelings to see something like that.
We talking
think-
jail?
To my
Yeah.
teacher.
Jail?
For sure.
Law and
Do you
order
think
in
jail?
here, huh?
You think jail?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what you gonna sit out free after you?
I don't think. I don't know. I don't think I would send him to jail.
We talked about this yesterday on the podcast. Now, I'm a pivot from that just a little bit. There was a guy that tried to talk to a girl. The girl wouldn't give him no rhythm. He picks up a brick and hits her in the face with the brick. How long in jail for that? Or well, I asked you that. Let's go here.
Say, don't get me started.
Should the guy go to jail for doing that?
Yes.
Yes.
That's assault.
10 years?
I think in each of these
Ten-
cases, it's assault.
10 years?
10 years?
it's assault. I
I would say about.
I can't say the years,
Yeah, I
but
can't say that. I
you know,
know
it
jail.
is assault.
That's assault.
No matter what, it's assault.
He need to
Y'all
go to
think
jail
that's
and get
assault, but
assault.
y'all don't think her slapping the kid and
I did.
She slapped him?
In both cases, it's assault.
It's assault.
Right, they both.
It's
Bro, I
assault.
said it was assault.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
assault.
It's assault.
Mm-hmm.
There's
I
levels
did-
to it.
So-
it is levels.
so
Getting hit in
10
the face
years-
with a brick.
10
and
less
the face
less
carried by your legs, not diminishing what he did.
He knocked him down first.
She hit him in the
And then
head.
snatched it
I
up.
seen. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So
But a brick is a death.
But a brick,
mhm.
That's
getting
a
hit to the
weapon,
face
yeah.
with a brick is different than somebody hit. Like he just
like
went.
if you do something that's just
Sorry.
completely out of line like that, like a woman don't want to talk to you, so you hit her in the face with a brick.
That's narcissism.
Like
Yeah.
you got to set standards in a society, and we're not even
Okay.
talking about this American system, because I know that somehow, some way, we all feel different about these American jails. Like we feel like they're corrupted, so they really don't got as much credibility to hold people down. But I'm talking about in a fresh country that you are establishing
You know, my
and
punishment-
setting things straight to make examples to get your society together so crime won't be rampant.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? She
What
get
type
hit-
of example would you set if somebody is just wild like that doing?
Well, he
hitting
would get
people
hit in the face with a brick, like he hit her. In the
That's
face
not
with a brick.
that's not equal.
That is.
That's-
She
that
can
is
get
equal.
back.
In my
That's-
country,
that's-
she can
that's
do
the
what
most-
she wants in her country. I can't do what I want in my
It depends
country.
the country.
That's the most equal it
But
could be.
so what do we
Eye for
say
eye.
about the coach that punched the little boy in the stomach out
Eye
there
for eye.
on the sideline?
For
But-
Did he get punched in the
No,
face?
But I almost feel like
What about mistakes?
Everybody make
Mistakes.
mistakes.
So it
That was
Everybody
premeditated
make
for you to
But-
pick
I
up
know,
the
but I'm
brick.
just saying in the eye for an eye country, then what about mistakes?
Then you have
Mistake
you
is
have to-
different.
every
Huh.
mistake
it
is different.
depends the
Some-
culture.
How do you determine
It
what's a
depends the
mistake?
culture and the
Intent.
religion.
Because
Yeah.
if you
Like
break
the
house, I
oversee-
scared, man,
the
I'm gonna shoot you. I think
oversee-
you done on purpose, so I get killed now.
Like
Ah. Yeah.
Men cannot touch women.
Mhm.
Even just
10
touch
is
it.
the biggest difference.
Cannot touch her.
Mhm.
So her family will be do a lot of problems.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So she's
Cannot touch it.
protected.
so
Yeah.
what I was
We're
gonna
not
say, bro,
protecting our
I know that eye for eye
That's the problem.
seems equal, right? But I almost feel like hitting him in the face with a brick is letting him off easy.
Yeah.
Because it's like you should have to pay more than what you stole. You know what I mean? Like most of the time when you're using, even if we go to the Levitical law, if you steal something from somebody, you have to pay them back more than what you took in order to balance it out. Like it should be like he gets hit in the face with a sledgehammer 10 times or whatever it might be. But you have to because him doing that is not, I don't know, it was just uncalled for, man. And we have to set regulation on stuff like that to make sure that it don't
But
happen.
that just is the society in which we live. Like she said, where she's from,
Mhm.
they protect the women.
Yeah. But the woman can hit men. The woman can hit men. But the man cannot put his hand.
Wait, where are you from?
Remember my point earlier?
We are like, we thought it was completely
You
different.
cannot respond. If you respond
Who's
I-
by a
what?
big family, it's not family just mom or dad or cousin. No. The
So, but-
big family.
Well, what we hear, what country are you from?
Iraq.
That's how
Iraq.
the structure is.
So the way that they portray Iraq in all Middle Eastern countries
Yes.
is that the men are completely in control, that they make women wear headscarves and they make you cover up in order
No,
to
it's-
be.
It's not all women.
I'm
cover.
saying, well, I'm not saying that this is necessarily true, but I am talking about the portrayal of American society on Islamic countries. They make it seem as though women are extremely oppressed in these
Because we
countries.
have a religion law,
Hmm.
so we follow the religion law.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it oppressive to women?
Yes.
It's oppressive.
From her country, like from her family, like her brothers or dad, or but
Mhm.
not from the law or
Not from the law,
from
but the family.
government. But the government follow the religion law,
Right.
and the government give a protection to the women there.
Mm.
So that's why the women be. I think like women there so happy for that.
Hmm.
Even with
Women there are happy that the
Yes.
law is how it
And-
is.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
Because
because
the
husband cannot talk to her. Husband cannot hit her because her family will her
Right.
husband will get a lot of like
Get that smoke.
Yeah.
In other
Well,
words,
what about his family?
Yeah.
Not only
jail
smoke.
too.
jail too. Yeah.
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 Mhm. But the woman can hit the man.
Yes.
Now, why does that make you happy? I mean, what's
Because
up
the
with
woman,
that?
the woman,
Oh, like, wait a minute, what we just?
the woman body is too weak. It's
Mhm.
not the same. It's not
That's true.
balanced between men and women.
Mhm.
Okay, ain't about it's not too weak.
So he's
but-
saying, she's saying it's not like the woman about to hurt you.
Right.
Right.
So I have a question for you.
Mhm.
What is your purpose for this question?
What is my purpose for these questions?
Yes. For this conversation.
Well, the
I want to
purpose,
know the purpose for that.
yeah, the purpose in this conversation is to shine light on the Dayton School and give you guys an opportunity to show who the staff really is at this school. Because a lot of times people send their kids to school with just strangers who are teachers, but they really don't know the character of these teachers, or they don't know their values, or they really don't understand who they are. And so I felt like if we was to be able to come in here and we just talk about stuff that's outside of school, but just showing the character of the staff of the Dayton School, I thought that people would be impressed by you. And I think that they would be. I am. And I'm hard to impress. I ain't gonna even lie. I'm just playing. But all right, and so we'll wrap this up in a minute. But I want to swing around one more time because we brought up a good point that I did have as a potential topic that we could talk about is men and women. right? Are do men and women have different roles to play in this human family?
It's subjective.
It
Yes.
depends on the family.
Yes, they do.
It depends on
In that towards the human family and towards the overall goal of humanity.
so you're not saying
So you
in
mean
your
like-
own individual family. You're talking about our role in society.
Yes.
I think that as humans we have roles, but to assign certain roles to a certain gender can be detrimental to our goals.
Yeah.
Because what happens is a woman might not be as nurturing as a man. Her brother, let's just say I have a twin brother, I really do, but let's just say we're twins and he's more of the nurturer and I'm more of the hardcore person.
Mhm.
And we're in this society and we're trying to, I don't know, volunteer at somewhere at a women's shelter. I'm just making it up as I go.
Yeah.
And they automatically assign me to help on the inside and talk and do the nurturing because I'm a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and him on the outside.
Right.
And we're totally out of place because the women are sitting there looking at me like I'm a stone cold because I'm not. So I think we do play a role, but to assign specific roles to genders, I think could be detrimental. I think
So would you say that's the norm or it is?
I think society tells us that's not the norm because society tells men and women they have to be a certain way. So because that's how we were raised or brought up in society, that's how we act.
What is special about being a woman? One thing that we all know, the obvious answer is just to be able to bring life and have children. All right, so we got that. There, I don't think there's anything more special than that. But outside of that, what else is really special about being a woman?
Boobs.
Boobs?
Our physical. I think our physical.
I think our mental
Yeah.
Her body.
Yeah.
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah. I just want to try to figure. Bina, it's
Not a woman, bro.
it's your no. I'm asking you. Do you think that men and women have the same roles in life into society?
I think no.
No.
I think naturally, you know what I'm saying, men and women are different. I think they are equal in value. You know what I'm saying? But not in
So what makes a man different from a woman naturally?
like
A
the way he
character.
Her
thinks.
voice.
The way he thinks.
Yeah, I mean a
Her
voice.
Her voice.
Her voice.
Right. Even
Muscles.
Yeah, the way he thinks.
But I mean
his
your
mental-
character. Like
All
if you
character.
wrote a description of a woman and a description
The
of a
voice,
man,
yeah.
what would be the difference besides their
Genitals.
physical characteristics and their high pitched voice?
I think the things that go along with that physical characteristic, you know what I'm saying? The physicalness of that man, he's gonna portray those characters. Because if a man gonna be naturally be stronger than a woman. So
And doesn't it? Well, what about testosterone and estrogen?
Yeah.
Do those two chemicals make the attitude of a man and the attitude of a woman different based on how much of these two things they're producing?
Yes.
Especially like the hormones.
Because a man is gonna be more aggressive.
Mhm.
A man is naturally more aggressive than a woman.
But I'm no aggressive women.
I know you know aggressive women, but
We're talking
So-
about the
See, I don't know.
statistics
It's
of
like
which
it's
is
blurred
more.
line.
I think it just depends on how these men and women were brought up.
Yeah, agree.
For real.
No.
I do.
I don't think so.
I
think
think
that
that
plays
men
a
are.
part.
What about-
a man,
I mean-
a man
That plays a
can't
part.
grow up. If a man wanted to grow up nurturing, in my day, in the 80s,
He would be acting like a woman.
yes, they would. But that might be who he naturally is. He might be naturally nurturing, but he was taught don't do that. Because
No,
that ain't
I'm
manly.
just saying.
Man up.
Wait a minute now.
just
Just
depends.
think about what we just
I
said. We
agree.
said if a man is doing these things, he is acting like a woman. So with that being said, that there is a particular way that women normally act.
No, that's
a
that's
style
what
norm.
That's based on the
It's a
perception
style
of
norm
what,
that-
and it
the
depends.
perception of what makes a woman a
No.
woman, and perception
No.
of what makes a man
Oh,
a man.
yeah, wait,
No.
no.
Yeah,
Like-
I think so.
like, I'm
I
broke.
think it's made up. Everything is made
I
up.
agree.
So woman, that word is made up.
But
And
you
then
don't think
the
that you act like a
characteristics
woman,
behind it.
though?
Sometimes. So right now I'm sitting with my legs uncrossed, dress on, legs open.
But you just
that lady
still
like-
no. But you are still
that a
a woman
societal
though, an
norm?
obvious woman though. Like
Yeah, true.
Yeah, she's the
I don't
But
care
I-
how much.
but-
I don't care how much that you sit in these ways. You're still just undoubtedly
she's been-
acting as a woman. Like you are a woman. There's no doubt about it, and all of you are.
Well, yeah.
Your vibration.
So I watch a lot videos on social medias about people change their gender, like the boy talking like a girl, they like act as a woman, and I feel it's nasty because women cannot be like that. We are a woman, so when they act like a woman, so I don't think so. Like,
So I think it's like a dual. I'm not speaking specifically on that, but I think just the idea what you were saying, what makes a woman a woman and what makes a man a man. I think it's a dual conversation. So I think there are just inherent physical differences, and then also some temperamental
cannot change
differences
it.
that we have
Yeah.
that can't change. But I do think there is a certain archetype of what I took, what Dr. Huggins was saying. That's what I'm like vibing off of. Like, there's an archetype of what people think a man is and what people think a woman is, and everybody doesn't fit into those necessary categories. Like, you know what I mean? I think it really does have a lot to do with what's in your nurturing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
what's in your nurturing mixed in with, because people can have a necessarily like a inherent nature as well that could go against those archetypes of what people is like.
That's true.
You know, like just giving my mom for example, like my mom is a hardcore person, like, you know what I mean? Like she is definitely nurturing and stuff like that too, but it's just different people who like they might not fit into your ideas that this is what a woman is, this is what a man is, because then it's other men who like even we said that person's acting like a man or acting like a woman. No, they're not. They acting like this idea which people put into that category, that perception of what's what. So like
They
these
connect and
archetypes
form,
don't
yeah.
necessarily fit everybody into these things. So
Which is the problem. And
But-
we try to fit everybody in those archetypes, and then when you don't, as a woman, if you are not portraying what people think is womanly, then you kind of get, I don't want to say bash, in a man too, either one. If you're not fitting in that archetype, then people label you something else and try to figure out why it is how it is,
Yeah,
or
something wrong.
what's wrong with you. And
Yeah.
it's like, it forces people to just act like a lady and act like a man because you don't want to be put out there, or you don't want somebody to
Isolated.
judge.
And but to that point too, I don't think that if you don't fit into those things, you're not a man or you're not a woman. I think that's still the case. I just think you fit outside of the parameters of the ways that people see that archetype to be.
Yeah, so it's just like with schooling. Come on, y'all. The Dayton School is untraditional. Because
people don't like
some
that.
kids couldn't perform in traditional school settings, and I think that traditional school settings they waste a lot of time. And with that being a thing, and with everybody being different, everybody learning different, everybody receiving information, and giving it out differently. Sometimes people in traditional school settings can't understand. Like on the faculty don't understand the students. And it becomes a total disconnect. And then what happened? The student get kicked out because they can't conform. We had a conversation about this last year. Conformity versus, what was it?
If you conform, you can make it through American's education system,
And that brings me
regardless
to a
of your
point
knowledge.
to where I think it's the environment that you're in, and then that's really what determines. Like, as far as when you speaking about man or woman or whatever, it's the environment that you're around. It's like what determines what a man or a woman is in the environment, or determines whether you're gonna feel safe or thrive or feel threatened. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the environment. So really, you just gotta go somewhere where you can survive, where people think like you. People are, you know what I'm saying?
Are these archetypes needed at all?
I think it's dividing us as human beings.
Absolutely, because he said.
So they're
go
not
somewhere
needed
where
at
it's
all?
accepted, but I feel
I don't
like
think they are.
we all should.
Is there any
accepted.
reason to call anybody a man or a woman?
No.
I
No?
think I think it is. I think it is medically, because physically,
I mean,
if we define male and female just by physical traits,
Mhm.
then I think it is. Because if I'm going to the doctor's office whether I identify as a male or not. So I'm born a woman. I have female parts.
Mm-hmm.
And now I identify as a guy or a man or a male or whatever you want to call it. When I go to the doctor, he's going to know what I was born as because that's going to determine his care for me.
Yeah, you don't have to.
So there are different physical makeups on the inside of us. So I do think there is
Do
importance.
do we
there.
think that God created men and women, or he didn't mean to do that? Or
I think he did.
Yeah.
So I think
he
they
created us all.
I think they are needed to kind of.
but
like,
why
go back.
did he?
I think they are needed though.
And why if archetypes aren't needed in men, and we don't need to call anybody a man or a woman, like why didn't everybody just come neutral?
But that's what I was getting
Well,
at.
that's what I'm saying. I think it is needed when it comes to certain things.
Like reproductions.
Like,
I mean, of course, certain things,
Right,
but I'm
but
saying
I
like
think-
this.
Yeah,
like,
division is natural though, and I think that's what we fail to realize, that division is natural. We need to understand that's a part of nature. Is being divided. We just have to learn how to get along with each other. You know what I'm saying? We can be divided. Me and you can disagree, or you can be over there and I can be over here. You know what I'm saying? We just need to learn how to coexist with each other.
and don't we?
Peacefully.
Yeah.
Don't we coexist pretty good?
Yeah, we coexist.
who as a human society?
People.
I don't know.
There's
That's
a lot of hate
debatable.
crimes. There's a lot of hate crimes. I mean, a lot of things.
Isn't there a
happen,
lot
like,
more love than hate crimes?
I would
think
hope
so.
so.
I mean, I'm just saying
I would
right
hope
now.
so.
In my everyday life, I see more hate than I see love.
Really?
That's sad.
Are you
It is.
looking for it? Are you looking for the hate?
No,
how do
it's
you see
just
Current
driving.
Where do
When
you where do you see this hate at?
I see it in the neighborhood I live, how I don't feel cared for as a person who lives by Princeton on the west side of Dayton. I don't feel like the city cares for me as other cities care for their. When I'm
think
pulling up to my
you
house,
got
I
so
don't see
much
care.
promise though. Like
I see that there's promise, but I'm saying it's just certain
I mean, there's so
things.
much love. There's so much care. It's so much good. You have to be looking for bad in order to.
Nah.
No, I think it depends where you
I
live.
think we all just animals, and it's a part of the cycle of life within our given community. So like when it's like you don't have to be looking for bad to come around. It's just a part of the situation. So when you ask like,
But
do
you're
we
not.
coexist
You're
pretty good?
ignoring the good though.
No,
No,
it's not.
I'm
You're not even
ignoring
ignoring the good. Like when it comes to, like I said, we just animals. Like we mammals. You know what I mean? We just live in our own given society. There's good and there's bad. There's both of those things. And even those ideas are relative. It was good and it's bad, like I said earlier. But
Right.
like you always gonna see things that make you feel like this is positive, and it's always gonna be some things that make you feel like this is negative. It's always gonna be war. It's always gonna be love. It's always gonna be reproduction. It's always gonna be death. It's a part of one cycle.
So
and I think
it
it's up
went-
to the
when-
individual to choose what they want to focus on.
Focus on.
Like, because it's both there. Like
I
you
mean,
said.
if your house didn't get broken into last night, is that good or bad, or is it relative?
It's
Relative. Because you got a house to get broken into.
'Cause
Hello?
yeah,
Come on, sister.
That's relative.
Yes.
it's relative.
Okay, so my house didn't get broken into last night.
It shouldn't.
I understand that, but the fact that it shouldn't is good, and the fact that it didn't is good.
It's great.
Because if it did, then you would wish that it didn't.
Sure.
It depends on you. That's why it's relative.
Sure,
'Cause
it
the
does.
person whose house get broken into and they lose everything and they get the lesson that materialism wasn't everything and they didn't need those things and they give them a greater purpose in life, they can find something in that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, but
So-
I mean,
so
but
that
I,
could be
but
just as good.
I hear you, bro.
And then
But
you
like
think
sometimes we
about it,
just
like,
reach
not
though.
to-
Like
Nah,
that's a
not
reach.
even a reach. My sister crib right now, and she told me that that's something that actually changed her life because she realized she didn't need none of those materials. You can have epiphanies from things that people see as bad that can really change your life in ways that maintain
Would
it
she
in
want
ways
her
that
house
you
to
think
get
is-
broken in again?
No, I'm saying burn
But
down.
would she want it to get?
No, I'm saying burn
would she
down.
want it to happen again?
No, what I'm saying is you don't know.
I'm
You never
asking
know.
you, would she?
You never
probably
know.
Do you
doesn't
think
want it,
so?
but it wouldn't affect her. as
You
it
don't.
would-
I'm saying you never know. There's
But what
things
about
that,
if she got everything back and then it burned down again?
and then that's what you know you can get it out back because that's the lesson.
But
so
then
even
what
when you
about
go
she
to
got it all
so
back and
even
then
when
it
you-
burned
so
down
even when
again?
you- So even when all right, let me give you this. So even when you go to even when you go to the broken into situation, like personally, that has happened to me before. Like I'm from Columbus. I lived in a neighborhood where I owned a house, you know what I'm saying? My house got broken into. I was salty, sad. We got everything back. Like, well, not everything back. I actually had to rebuy different stuff. I lived in a different neighborhood in the hood. My stuff got broken into. The next day, I had my Camaro crashed. And I was sad for a moment about losing those things. But the lesson that I got in thinking and understanding that I didn't need those things, they're all just materials. And the most biggest blessing I could have had is that I didn't lose my life. And as long as I could live for another day, I wouldn't have understood that if I didn't have all those things happening then, because the fact that I did go out and go try to go get those same things to rebuild that the first time or maybe even the second time showed that I was still in search of those materials, but the constant loss of those materials is what sustained the understanding that there was no need for them. Sometimes it takes multiple times to get a lesson.
So now,
Sometimes you can get it in one time.
So you telling me that you want somebody to break in your house?
You don't have to want something to understand, not understand it as good or bad. It just happens.
Right, but I'm asking you, do you want someone to break in your house?
No, I'm trying to
Okay,
tell you
hold
this.
on, just
But what
stop
I'm
there.
trying to tell
But
you
stop
is-
there. Hold on,
All right.
stop there. Why don't you want someone to break in your house?
I wouldn't want anybody to invade my personal space in that way.
Why?
Because I wouldn't want that.
Why?
Because
might
it's a
get
feeling
hurt.
of violation that goes
Why?
along with that.
Why
There's a feeling.
Because
give me the
it's
answer.
a
There's
bad-
feeling. No, I just gave you the answer because there's a feeling of violation that goes along with that.
But
That's the
why?
answer.
But what is the feeling of violation? It is
Because
a
somebody
bad
entered my
feeling.
personal space.
Bad feeling.
Right, but see, bro, look,
So what are you
like
saying?
all
Because
the
it's bad because of what?
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm
what
saying.
I'm
not
trying
saying
to-
it's bad.
what I'm trying to say,
Violent.
like, what we can do is like we can
I don't
always.
see it as bad. I just see it as relative. Like
It's-
that. Because things that somebody else might feel is bad, it could be a lesson within that for you that supersedes the thing
It
that
can
other
be.
somebody else
There's-
thinks
like
your
people-
Hold on,
your
wait.
things are
It's
bad.
called the seed of equivalent benefit. This is a philosophy and a principle that you can use when a bad thing happens. You look at it and see how you can still use it as a stepping stone to elevate you. That's the principle. I know what you're saying, but the seed of equivalent benefit happens when something you consider to be bad on its face actually happens. And so what I'm saying is when you're looking at your neighborhood and you don't see it in complete chaos, you don't see burglaries happen every night. You don't see your house getting broken into. You see people caring for their lawn. You see people can come together as a community. All of these things can be relatively looked at as good. And by not looking at them as good, you are choosing to ignore the good things that are essentially well, because you could be living in a war zone. Like when America came and invaded Iraq, were you there?
Yeah,
How was it?
so bad.
You wasn't living in a war zone. You wasn't having bunker buster bombs dropped on your stuff and kids being killed and
Yeah.
praying for it not to happen to you. You're not living in a bad situation.
They saying be grateful.
Exactly.
So
What was the
wait,
original
so-
question?
And that's my point. That's what makes
But-
it
but I'm-
relative. It's because just because we live in these conditions, somebody like we live in certain conditions that we see as bad, it's always somebody living in somewhere worse. So you could be thankful for the things that somebody might consider
There's
as
always somebody
bad.
doing better.
That's the point.
Or you
And it's
can
always somebody
expect,
doing
or
better.
maybe-
or you
You
can
don't-
expect the best for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't expect to see trash outside when I walk outside,
and you
that's just
don't,
my
and you don't,
expectation.
and you don't,
You
what
know?
is it?
what?
You don't expect to see trash and you don't see trash. So what is that?
That's right.
Good.
You don't live on
No, it should.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
that should happen.
All right.
You don't
Yeah.
live-
It just because
I'm sitting on a panel with a panel full of me's where nobody can
I'm
tell
saying that shit
us
just-
nothing.
It's like when
Y'all won't admit
but it's
nothing.
Like if you grow,
and
it's
some
like,
bunch
things
of
can just be
peanuts,
sold.
man.
They don't have to be
Like,
good
it
back.
just
They're
be
just
that
sold.
way.
So it's like I grew up poor.
Just
I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah,
I didn't
I know.
understand that until I went to Central State and I went to other people's houses. I was like, dang, I think I was poor for real.
Mhm.
And I didn't even understand that the things that I was exposed to were bad. That was just life for me
Mhm.
until I got older and
So-
became an adult. And then I was like,
Well, what about if one of your students, right? If they come to class and they just act out. Is there any situation where a student should be like removed from a class?
Yeah.
yeah, if they can't
For
calm
what?
themselves.
If they can't,
If they're
they-
interrupted so much they can't calm themselves.
they can't
could be-
keep
It's for-
everybody
it's for the
safe.
greater good of the group.
Is it
everybody got something wrong.
what are they acting bad in class or no?
No.
It's
it
not
could
bad.
not be bad. It could be
It's not
It's not.
What do you mean
They're
bad?
just
though?
displaying an unfavorable behavior. They could be laughing. They could be laughing and laughing and
Is
laughing.
disrupting a class so the other students can't learn bad.
It's unfavorable.
It's unfavorable.
Yeah, it's unfavorable.
But the word bad,
bad
is
is
What are y'all on?
That insinuates you're intentionally doing
It's
something.
what
And bad is a
It's a label that we
It's a-
y'all are the smartest group of teachers to ever live. What in the world?
They put that word bad
It's a valued
on.
opinion.
All right, that's your opinion.
It's a valued opinion. It's
Maybe
a
bad to
valuation.
you.
Bad and good is a valuation.
Yeah, and if you think
So
about it,
okay,
it goes
well,
You
back.
put that label on the child.
we're not saying that the child is bad. I'm saying that if they're in class disrupting the class so the other kids can't learn, is that bad? And y'all saying,
It's not good.
Is it?
is it good?
It's
Is
not
it?
good.
Oh, is that relative? It's relative.
We said
It's good.
it's
I feel like-
unfavorable.
Yeah.
Well, how is that relative unfavorable?
Yeah, the word unfavorable is relative because that's from my opinion of how I would like my class to run. Some people might not even care about that.
Yeah, I would have
So,
liked that.
but
It's based
but,
on my
but
evaluation of
okay,
what
but
she's
is
doing
that
in
good?
class.
Is that good teaching though? For somebody not to care if all the rest of the students are being disrupted in their class.
Well, maybe I can get it under control and he can't. So he's like, get this back, like this, they being bad,
Yeah.
get out. And I'm like,
Please help me here.
no, for real. It
really
really
Come on
And
now.
I feel like
Tell them.
It depends
in
on
the
teacher.
classroom,
This is like when a police officer sees his other police officer abuse somebody and doesn't report him.
Nah, because
Y'all got the
No, this is
glue
different.
wall over
Oh,
here,
don't be
not.
comparing that to us.
abuse is
Hey,
abuse.
you guys are.
disruptions could be teaching moments. Disruptions could be so many different things
Teachable
that can be
moments, yeah.
that can be considered good. That's what I said.
But
it's
if they
evaluation.
won't stop
Yeah, because it's
disrupting
a
the
way to-
class and y'all have to remove them from the class, I said they were disrupting them for so much. Is that so? Okay, so that's relatively good to show all the other kids. Like if you do this, then you'll get put out too.
There we go.
All right, so when they all do it and they all get put out,
They're
then
not
what?
all-
That's why we.
Then
do
that's a
some-
problem.
I'm just go. I gotta go
Then
down the
that's the
same
problem
rabbit
with
hole that
disruption.
you guys
That's the
go
problem
in the
with
levels of extreme in order to prove the point that you can say that something is bad. There are things that you consider bad, even though it might
I
be
agree.
relative.
Yeah.
That's why.
It might-
That's what
Well,
the
give
term
us something
relative
that-
means.
Exactly.
Well, give
You, it might be, and to me, it
Well,
might
tell
not
us
be.
it's bad.
It's
You
a
think it's
valuation.
Well,
That's what the word
but that's
relative
like
means.
Exactly.
That's
So
what
like
the word
getting
relative
your
is.
house
Is it
broken
cold?
into.
Yeah.
Exactly.
that's
Is it
like
cold or
asking if it's
hot?
cold.
That's like evaluation. You can say it's cold because it's 70
We
degrees. I
all
say
can
it's
have
hot.
a shared belief in something that is obvious to all of us, and we all consider it bad. That's how value is assigned to anything.
But no, it can't be like that though, because
It
if we
is
not,
on
it's not
some things.
because it's not shared though, unless everybody in the group has that same opinion.
But we all do have the same opinion, though.
Pedophilia
Not
is bad.
necessarily.
So,
But
well,
there's
if-
people out there who don't believe that. I
We talk
believe
about
that.
this group.
Yeah, because
Okay,
that's
well,
been
we
that's
all agree.
shared
That's
and that's
bad.
shared within
and
our
we
group.
all agree that if a child is disrupting the class to the point that someone is that the class is not learning because this person is just acting out and they have to be removed from the class, that is something that none of us would want to happen, and therefore, since we don't want it, we consider that to be bad. God damn it.
It depends the classroom rules.
Yeah.
The
See,
teacher put the rules in the
Right.
syllabus. That's why we do
I'm
the
telling you,
syllabus.
Exactly.
some people-
Anything in break.
Her class might be different from my class.
Yes.
Might be
No,
different.
she's saying the breaking of rules is bad.
Break, yes. Yeah. This is my opinion.
And some people believe, and some people,
You got a little
and some people, and some
You
people,
help them out.
and some people believe rules should be broken.
You're invited back to the podcast.
And I'm not even just saying it. I'm not even saying it just to argue. I'm just saying like the idea that that we can just use our opinion and say everything is one way and that's it. That's not how the way the world works.
No, it doesn't. It don't. And man, bro, I'm telling you, you are a fire educator, bro, because you can stand on your square and you will teach.
I mean,
Like you strong in your opinions, man, and that's what kids need. Like for real, I respect it all, and I do the same thing. Like but I know reaching when I hear it, and you feel me? Scratch Armstrong on a nigga, man.
Because I'm not even reaching, bro. What I'm doing is I'm opening your mind.
But see, using words like unfavorable and using other relative terms to describe the same thing
Consider it
as a
bad.
bad is like it's a reach.
No, because from my opinion, I think that I might think it's bad, but somebody else might not think it's bad. So
True.
I can't just say that it is
I
bad.
know what you're saying.
That's
You're
basically
right.
making an opinion into a fact, and that's not good.
seriously,
Right.
and after
It's-
meeting
it's
so
right.
many different personalities, it's it's so difficult to have those labels because it's so many different things that you learn. So
And be a
perfect
different age
example.
group, different
Perfect
culture.
example. When my first year teaching, I taught the first grade. This little boy would not sit down. He'd be walking around the class all day. Like, and I'm like, what is his problem? Like, all right, everybody, get out your books. So I'm, regular. I had to learn that he can't sit down, so he got to stand up. And then by the end of the school year, he like, oh no, I stand and learn. Like, and that was his thing. And so that was a teachable moment for me. So yeah, it was bad that he was disrupting the class at first, but then we turned it around. We figured out what he needed, and that showed other kids like, oh, he stands. So okay, what can I do? I'm like, oh, you can pass out papers. Oh, well, what can I do? So everybody figured, everybody learning, and everybody's feeding it's feeding everybody.
But is there a certain time that he does need to just sit down though?
I mean, if he can't, he can't though.
Yeah.
If he can't, he can't.
Matter of fact, yeah, because that
Come
could
on
be the
now,
example.
yes, he can.
That could be the thing. Like something could be
He
wrong
need to sit
with
his little
him.
ass down.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
Well, that's why
everybody can't do
you.
it.
That's what you be. I ain't gonna say that.
Man, no, you can. I don't care. Trust me, it's okay.
I'm about to say,
Right, I'll be dragging
everybody
kids
can't
like-
sit down, and it might be more harmful to him as a student to try to make him sit down instead of like working with what he got.
Or
going
they
on.
might need a class for that.
Or
They
hold
might,
it
they
down
might,
the
they need a
No,
can't sit down
inclusion.
class for that.
Inclusion.
It
No.
is inclusion, but listen, for somebody else's challenge, you can't have it destroy all. So
But it's
we
not
should set.
destroying.
But you
Well,
gotta
I mean,
realize this-
but she said he was walking around the class disturbing all the other students for the whole year.
Well, I'll
No,
give you an.
the beginning.
She
Yeah.
For the
said she got
beginning.
it. I'll give you.
And how did you get it under control?
I let him stand up and work.
Okay, so that was cool. That was a reasonable solution. But he wasn't walking around anymore,
No.
just knocking people's stuff off their
No.
desk. Was he ever doing that?
Yes.
And then you stopped him from doing that.
Yes.
Okay,
I was
so
like,
there
sit down.
it
Go
is.
back to your seat. I said, sit down.
Well,
And
he
then-
basically just needed somebody to. He's a first grader. He probably doesn't know how to articulate himself.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like even when kids get in high school, they don't know how to articulate or advocate for themselves because they never had the chance to.
Yeah.
He said, "I stand up and learn." He said that.
Yeah. By the end of the year.
And how did he? You talk to his parents about this?
Yes.
And his
We
parents
had-
said, he been doing that
at
since
home,
first
he can't sit
grade.
down. Yeah. When we go to church, he running up and down the aisles.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay. So if it's the same thing at home that it is here, now I just got to learn how to work with that.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
I have
I mean,
to-
I agree to
You
a
can't
certain
just
extent.
label it
I
a
agree
behavior
some.
bad.
Like
Yeah.
he needs to learn how to
Exactly.
compromise too, though, because it don't work the way that he
Right.
wanted to work in all
And the
ways.
compromise
comes.
was him standing
It-
right
it
in one
needs to
spot.
come
That was
now.
compromise.
Well,
Yeah,
that
and
did
that did. There it is. Okay, standing up.
Yeah, so
guess.
it worked out. So it was a teacher.
This is his dad in the household.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
No, his dad's there too.
Yes.
Okay.
So the dad gonna make his energy. He gonna
Yeah,
suck the
well,
energy out of him
I-
so he don't have
That's
to.
what I
do
thought.
No,
I'm like,
I
you
think
gotta go
I
on
think
home,
that
like,
I
what
think
is
that I think that there is an importance with a father that in the household in order to get the most out of the child, and the same value is there for the mother to be there.
Yeah,
but
I
just
agree.
without the father there, I think that sometimes kids might not be as balanced as they could be. I definitely think that.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think they need both.
Yeah.
I do too.
I'm surprised. Wow, I'm glad I got that off. It's relative.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's the point though, because one thing don't fit all, and that's what
Yeah.
you realize
Yeah.
as an educator. You can't just throw a blanket on everybody and expect it to hold. It don't work like
Yeah,
that.
it
You know what I
doesn't.
mean?
Cause I had
And
that
that's the
same
thing.
her. What happened with her in high school? We was on block scheduling, so that's 90 minutes,
It's a
and he
long
just
time
be
to
up walking around. I can say Jamie's name because he wouldn't mind. So Jamie would just be walking around, and I was like, Jamie, this is what we gonna do. I need you to have a seat during instruction. After instruction, take a little break, 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, do what you need to do, and then I need you to come back and get your work done.
Mm-hmm.
And so we agreed as a class. So that Jamie needs to do this. The rest of y'all, look, this isn't a free for all where everybody could just get up because everybody needs something different. So that was the deal.
I wonder if Jamie will be able to find, or hopefully he can have his own business where he can do what he wants to do. But if he doesn't and he needs to go and work for somebody, do you think that they will be as accommodating with Jamie?
Well, this is what I think. I think that in traditional settings of education, we're asking kids to do things that do not matriculate into society. There's not a job that I know, unless you're a secretary or you are somebody who just is sitting down answering phones. Every other job, you are going to be up moving. And I think that a lot of times we do, when we are teaching in a traditional school setting, we are expecting kids to do things that may not are matriculate.
A little standing up, yeah, but not walking around the facility.
That just
I mean,
requires movement.
I mean, they do.
I mean,
If
come
you're
on,
a
now.
security
I'm
guard,
just
that's what
saying
you
it
do.
And most jobs require
But
you
you find a
move.
job that
Yeah.
fits you.
Well, man.
You find a job that fits you if you lucky.
Truck driving,
If you're lucky.
Nah,
How
you
many
apply-
people?
You
I don't
apply
think
to,
you
you
gotta
apply
be
to,
like-
you apply to everywhere you going.
I
walking,
mean,
running.
I'm just saying, most people are not finding jobs that fit them, and
Yeah,
that's
because
where
they're
we see
chasing
this
money.
high turnover rate. Exactly.
And they're not chasing their, again, if we go back to our passion.
Right.
They're
not
That's what I'm
chasing their
saying
passion.
too.
Yeah, 'cause
They're
that
not
part is-
chasing
that
the
part is
things that fit their
circumstantial.
characteristics.
Most
Situation.
people,
Yeah.
most people go to an interview hoping to get the job instead of being recruited to work at the place that they want or a place that wants them.
Because that's what we're taught to be workers.
Exactly. So that's what I was saying. You know, hopefully he has his own business because man, people could just have energy, and it's actually good for real that you guys do facilitate kids that have that energy where they may not want to sit down or they don't do this or they don't do that, but they still can come and get educated and not kicked out of school for these petty reasons.
Yeah. 'cause-
So y'all are definitely like on the right track. You know what I'm saying? But I just look at things to just
So do you believe in
Figure it out.
restorative practices?
probably so. What is it?
So restorative practices when two people are involved, something bad happens in the thing. So if I did something bad to her, I need to restore her.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So in that sense, from in my opinion, that's kind of like restorative practices. If you have a conversation with a child about the way that they learn, how they learn, or if you have a conversation with a child about how I feel when you're talking to me and that, hold on, you need to calm your little voice, calm down for a second, because when you talk to me in that voice, it makes me want to then talk to you in that voice, and nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
So restorative practice is the number one thing is about communicating your feelings. And so I think that that's also what's missing in education.
Yeah.
But for her, the kid up walking around, most of the time, students don't get to express how they feel about anything in the classroom.
Right.
It's about compliance. Sit down. Even
Yeah.
if you disagree
Yeah.
with a text or something. It's like, nah, this is the theme. This is where the theme is going. You don't get, you know?
Right.
And so
I agree. I mean, schools should have all of these things that y'all are doing implemented in the schools.
But in that case, you saying that little boy, so why is it only mental? Why would you accept mental breakings of traditional classrooms, but not like him physically? The physical.
You talking about him
dynamics.
slapping the little boy in the head?
No. So when we was talking about the boy getting up and walking around, you was like he needs to sit down somewhere. So a lot of times we're more likely to accept non-traditional verbal things, but not non-traditional ways in which.
No, I mean, if I was a teacher or if I had a school, I would have class outside. I would let my kids like do all kind of science stuff by physically doing science, like digging up dirt and examining stuff. And we would be doing the what's the one stuff where you cut open the animals and
dissecting.
we would do dissections and we would pull up on all kind of places and we would do field trips, a gang of stuff. Like we would learn a lot of hands-on, I mean, we would do some book learning, but we would just, I would figure out exactly what students like and I would let them learn on their terms. So I think that the way that you guys are doing these things,
I found you. Sorry, we was having a conversation.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, you know,
But
I-
do you think most
she
people who are not in education, when they walk through a school building,
mhm,
they view a class
mhm.
as engaged in students learning when the teacher is talking and the students are sitting there writing and quiet? Or do you feel like if you are walking down, and let's say high school, because a lot of elementary classes do way more centery stuff, but in the middle or high school, if you're walking down the hallway
Mm-hmm.
and you're peeking in the doors and the teacher is teaching, the kids are writing, do you view that as them learning, a learning environment? Or would you feel like you walking past and it just looks chaotic, kids are all doing different things? And which one would you say, ooh, that's a good class, I want my kid in that class, that society would feel like was a good class?
Well, what I would feel like versus what society feels like is probably two different things. But I don't know. I mean, I would have to see what's going on inside that chaos to see if there's an activity happening, and that's how they're learning in there.
Okay.
Like, you know, you can't just go and judge something by just glancing in at it. But if you see kids in there throwing paper balls at each other and there's a whole bunch of talking, and it just seemed like that it's all just a bunch of side conversations, and the teacher is like on a phone or doing something, then you might think
that's
that
automatic.
this ain't no good place, there ain't nobody learning nothing in here. You know, and sometimes teachers can get wore out, man, from just trying and trying and trying and trying. Nobody will listen. The parents don't want to help. Like, they can't find the right rhythm in order to reach the kids. And then so the kids is giving up on school, teachers giving up on the kids, and then so everything is getting lost. But I I really think that like, y'all would know better than me. It's like a little disingenuous for me to start talking about what should be happening in school when I don't know how students are really in class behaving. Like, I could have all of these like pioneer type ideas about what I would do if I was a teacher, but then once you get in that classroom and kids are bringing all of their problems that they got at home and everything into this classroom, it's not going so as what I thought. Like, I'm going to have to basically improvise this situation in order to make it work. You know what I'm saying? So I have to see what's going on inside of a classroom in order for me to like really say like, oh, this is what I would try. This is what I would do. Because before I start teaching, you know, you might have to be a therapist a little bit first in order to gain the trust of the students. And then they're willing to listen and learn from you once they understand that, you know, you smarter than them. These kids nowadays, man, they got so much information at their fingertips. They know so much that is going to be things that they know that you don't.
Yeah.
And they like,
love
you
a
ain't
class
even
like
in no
that.
position to be teaching me, bro. You don't even know. You know, and teachers come in with all of they, like you said, structure, formatted curriculum stuff, and trying to fit students into a space where they really, you know, where the student really can't thrive in that space. So if it takes you letting the child walk around, as long as you get the situation under control, that's a good creative teacher that would see the need of that student and then figure out a way to make it work.
I'm
Y'all
just asking,
are
'cause it's
good
a lot of traditional
staff, though.
things. It's a lot of traditional things that we see in society, even like homework. If your child isn't getting homework, it's like, what kind of school is this? You don't even get homework. But there's no research that shows that homework has a positive growth on students. So, you know, I just wonder what you
You
thought
out.
about that.
Much love to you, bro. Yeah, I agree.
It's just some traditional things.
It
that,
is.
That,
I
that
mean, the
shows
traditional. I wasn't it 70% of kids wasn't graduating from high school or something.
Yeah.
So all of these traditional methods of teaching, I don't think that it's just this success formula where you should be saying, "Oh, you're not doing it like this, then you ain't gonna be successful." I mean, those numbers show that doing it like this leads to things being unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's about right.
Right.
For, you know, from a different angle. That's
How's y'all's graduation rate?
100%. What we got?
Girl, put it out there.
I'm like, but,
Well,
yeah.
of our seniors, 100% of our seniors did graduate. Of the ones that were
100% of your seniors
Four of them.
graduated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's game, set, match right there. That's nice.
we
what
plan to
can you
make it
say?
that way this year too. So we have a larger number of students
Mm-hmm.
of seniors, and we're gonna be meeting with them at the beginning of the year. We put the ownership on them.
Right.
So a lot of times so when you come to the Dayton School, it's on you. It don't have nothing to do with us. We're just
Right.
there to facilitate learning.
Yeah.
And so we don't accept the notion that it's your fault I ain't graduate. Why ain't I learning this? The minute they come into the door, they know that they're their own advocate and they're responsible for their own learning.
Yeah.
So that helps us then help them see the positivity in graduating and all that.
Right.
Because now they're doing it for themselves. There's nobody to blame, not a parent,
Mm-hmm.
not a sister, brother, whoever raising you, not a teacher. It's all on you.
Right.
And I think that we need to do that more.
Mm-hmm.
But also that takes a school to give that child everything that they need in order to know what they need to, like the roadmap to graduation. It's schools out here who kids are juniors and seniors are retaking the state test and don't even know why. Don't even know the points they got to get on the test. Don't even know how many credits they need to graduate.
Right.
Don't know any of these things because it's like they just going to school and going to class, and when it's time to graduate, it's like
Where is the Dayton School?
it's on North Main Street.
On North Main. What's so funny? It is hilarious. Right? So what?
We're in a temporary building right now. That's where everybody looked at me
Right.
like,
Right.
and we gonna let her. You see that? They're like this. So, but we was over on our North Main Street location, and they're working diligently. And the date I have is about 6 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully but we're back in our temporary location. But
But
it
it's
is
all
what it
good.
is.
So where is the temp? Like, if they want to come register, where would they come?
3237 West Siegenthaler.
3237 West
In the
Siegenthaler.
Steamboat Plaza, next to where the old Roses used to be.
Oh, okay. All right. And we can order? I mean, I didn't mean to say order, but we can register online too.
Yeah, they could register online, but they're still going to need to do something, correct?
Yeah, we would rather you actually just come in or download the application and fill it out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, just come in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or download the
Or
actual
download it.
application, because if you go online and fill it out, it's a couple pages that
You
you
still
can't.
have to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just come through.
Yes.
Siegenthaler, and then what days can they come and register?
Any day.
Monday
Any
through
day?
Friday.
At what time? The times
Between 8 and 1.
between 8 and 1. And when does school start?
Mondays. That's
School
right.
starts Monday? Okay. And so if for example, if you got put out of a school, if you're not in school, or you trying to get it together, like how is there any age that's too old to come and join school?
So after 20, we don't accept you.
All right. So if you're 19, if you're 20,
Yep.
you can still come and get your high school diploma.
Yes.
20 years old, that is nice.
You can still come get it.
And then so you find out how many credits they need based on their records,
Yep.
and then they can.
And we make them a plan. They don't necessarily have to be in school the traditional hours. They could just come do 4 hours a day,
Mhm.
because we do understand they're 20 and they probably
Yeah, gotta
whatever.
work.
So
and
we
take
work
care of
around their
stuff.
schedule, but they do need to come in the building at least twice a week.
That's real good. And then you also accepting freshmen. We got freshmen this year.
We have accepted some freshmen. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're pretty full. Our freshmen right now,
Uh huh.
I'm trying to get 2 more in right now because we're full
Yeah, we're
when it
Okay.
comes to freshmen. But
All right. So
Get on
Trying to
this.
think.
yeah, you
Get
could
on the
definitely
waiting
get on the
list.
wait
Get on the
list.
wait
yeah.
Definitely, because we do have, a person may be done early, graduate early.
And then you got a spot opened up.
Yeah, then we have a spot open up.
And another cool thing about the Dayton School is that you can play sports for your home school
Yep.
by going there, right?
You can play sports for your homeschool. Absolutely.
No doubt. And they can live anywhere.
Anywhere.
And come to the Dayton School.
Heber Heights, Inglewood, Dayton, Trotwood.
Does it cost anything to go there?
Not yet. No, I'm just playing. It doesn't cost anything, no. We are a community school. This year, we're going to also be doing some adult programming because we understand that when our kids leave us, they might be going back to chaos and their parents might need some help.
Right.
So we're a community school.
Right.
Like, we're all about community. So there is no cost to go to Dayton School. But because of that, we do take donations. So
Yeah.
you could definitely donate to help our students out.
Do kids wear uniforms or they can just wear what they got?
But they do not wear uniforms. However, we do have a dress code.
Okay. What is the dress code?
No midriff showing, no booby showing, no booty showing.
Yeah.
But it's
No
relaxed.
sagging.
Yeah, no sagging. You're not sagging.
Yeah, no.
That's a
No. Yeah.
yeah. No chest out, male or female.
Yeah. Just come appropriate.
Absolutely.
Come good.
Yes.
No doubt. Well, do anybody got anything else to say before we close? I mean, this has been an outstanding podcast, bro. I mean, you feel me? That's how you're supposed to mix it up on a podcast with teachers. Yeah. Yeah, that was good. That's what B-Nut wanted. B-Nut, is this
Where
what you
was
wanted?
Yeah.
Where Peanut at?
Peanut.
Remember
Peanut
last
is
the
yeah.
other day he said.
He's working. I think Peanut might be working right now.
Okay, well,
But we got a podcast tonight at 6. All right,
Yeah.
y'all. We gonna close out. Love everybody. Dayton School. See
Hold
y'all
on, I want
Monday.
a picture of y'all. Can I get
All
a
right.
picture?
Yeah.
Come on now.